it going there, everybody? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new Samurai Jack episode discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we're going to be talking about is episode 6. And yes, folks, this episode was just a pure nostalgic trip, folks. I personally thought this episode was actually tearful as we actually see Ashi look for Samurai Jack throughout the whole entire episode. And throughout the whole entire episode, she was just revisiting old acquaintances of Jack that he met throughout his whole journey in the fight against Aku. That for many long fans of the series, it felt very nostalgic and very, very tearful because you see what Ashi has done that Samurai Jack was able to accomplish in so much that it was actually able to build that character for the Samurai Jack himself, in order to build that self-esteem that he actually has, that he really did accomplish so much that his life was worth it. Because yes, folks, this episode was literally the episode where Jack was really about to commit seppuku. Yes, folks, or at least basically a Japanese suicide, where he basically gets a sword and stabs himself to death. And yes, this episode was very dark in terms of what Jack was going to do, because those spirits and that horsemen that we've seen throughout the earlier episodes that we in this season, it actually wasn't necessarily the horsemen of death. It was necessarily, you could say, Jack's representation of his soul just giving away. It was basically Jack actually just giving up and manifesting into a spiritual form of death itself actually coming in. And honestly, it was very interesting to see that Jack actually heading towards that route, folks. I am not going to lie to you guys. It was very, very touching to see that Jack was actually heading towards that he actually just lost, that he couldn't save those children in the previous episode, that it just felt very hard to watch, guys. Like, honestly, just seeing Jack about to commit that act right there, Jesus Christ, it was too much, guys. It was too much. But needless to say, though, it was overshadowed by the fact that the whole entire episode, we were actually looking at how Ashi just saw many of the characters. I mean, come on! We saw the Woolies! The freaking Woolies were there doing their own thing. We saw, what was that other, there were so many characters, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, give me a second. We saw the Woolies. We saw, I believe it was Olivia, the rave girl that was actually, like, I believe she was enchanted by one of Aku's henchmen with music itself. We saw her. My God, that scene was just amazing, folks. The reason I say that scene was amazing was because of the fact that they actually made a tribute song to Samurai Jack himself, a rave song to Jack. And it's funny because at the same time, all the ravers themselves actually made you could say, like, a dance step towards Samurai Jack. I believe it was the Samurai Drop, which is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I personally it felt more like as if it was just kung fu moves all in the essence with some techno music in the background. It felt like it was like the creators' way of saying, like, oh, this is what the raves really looks like to them. It's pretty funny as to how the drop beat was going, but honestly, though, Olivia's singing was actually pretty interesting. Hearing that in the episode. Granted, though, Ashi also meets the three, I believe it was the three, I don't even think they gave him a name to the sense, but they were the three, what were they? I believe it was during season 1 or 2. It was one of the three people that like, they made a wish upon a well. I'm trying to remember if they actually gave them a name. They were just like the three warriors that sacrificed everything: sight, loss of hearing, and basically they just kind of became puppets to themselves towards one of the wells. That we actually now witnessed that it was actually Aku's doing, that the well itself was actually an incarceration of evil itself, giving off, you could say, magical powers. That in itself was interesting because I actually didn't think that it was actually part of Aku's body, or needless to say, maybe one of Aku's henchmen. That in itself was actually interesting, guys. And honestly, these people actually made a society of these hunters and warriors that they're actually were ready to sacrifice their lives for Samurai Jack, because their lives were just not, they were so important that Jack did a very, not a selfish act, but it was a selfless act of rebellion towards of him going back to the past. And honestly, that's actually very interesting, seeing that Jack actually helps out these people and how it impacted such a community that Jack has so many people. I mean, and for Pete's sakes, we even got the samurai in action. Oh my god! I honestly was not expecting to see that character in this episode, folks. That character was just too much to watch. Oh my god. He was even hilarious in this episode as the way he was actually just talking to Ashi and explaining, oh, you know, he helped me change my ways. Honestly, he really did. It's just like that the samurai actually just did a big exaggeration of it, which I thought was pretty hilarious. And at the same time, like I said, like just going through that nostalgic trip throughout the whole entire episode just gives it that much more meaning towards the episode for us and many of the long series fans. And honestly, the thing that I didn't expect in this episode, to watch this episode, folks, was Ashi herself actually cleaning herself, and you could say showering herself, because I didn't know that you could say that black cloak that she had on was basically just ash. Her skin just ashed up, or just charred, you could say, that when she jumped into like a little pond and just washed all that dirt and debris off, basically Ashi was just walking around naked throughout the whole time, and now she's actually changed her a better person. This episode was more of a redemption for both characters, as Ashi now finally got to see the full extent of, we actually got to, like I said, of her path towards righteousness. Now that she sees what Jack has done, she's actually changed herself. That even her outlook herself actually looks more heroic. Not heroic, but in a sense that looks more in a sense of righteousness, and looks very cute in a sense as well. That I personally thought that Ashi herself's character development is going very smooth and playing out very wonderfully, guys. And it's funny too, guys, that Ashi, she just looks so feminist. Like, I'm not feminist. She looks feminine now. Honestly, she just reminds me of Tinkerbell. Just like a little Tinkerbell character there. And honestly, it's so funny that Ashi herself was just wearing like a little lily pad over herself when it was raining, when she met the samurai. That like it was like a cute moment. Honestly, it really was. But like I said though, the last thing that I do want to talk about, I believe it was the Scaramouche assassin. Honestly, I did not think that he actually would have survived in this episode, folks. And the thing about this character, guys, is the fact that the Scaramouche, he's a very hilarious, but the fact that he actually had a very close call with talking to Aku about the fact that he knows that Jack doesn't have the sword. I actually really was going to think that they actually were going to play along with the fact that the Scaramouche was actually going to tell Aku that, oh yeah, Jack doesn't have his sword, you can actually go ahead and kill him now. Aku tries to go face him off, only to come to find that maybe Jack already has his weapon and he's ready to fight, which I thought that might be what the creators might be actually going for, but maybe not necessarily it's going to happen in this. Maybe in the next episode they might actually be doing that, but needless to say, that'd be pretty interesting if they actually went along with that actually plotline device that I just told you guys right now. But needless to say, guys, that's it for today's segment, guys. I personally think, like I said, this episode was very nostalgic and very touchy, just seeing all those characters, looking back at them over and over again, and just seeing how the authors took that chance to say, you know, let's just do a little rewind throughout the whole entire season. And honestly, I personally felt that, like, I'm glad I watched all the previous seasons before I came into season 5, because I would have not got this episode's reference. I really would have not. A lot of people, honestly, even if you guys never saw the last seasons, or the last 4 seasons, I should say, you guys, it still would make sense in the storyline, but just the fact that for the longer series people that have been here since the beginning of episode 1, it actually calls out more to them. That's what it personally felt like. But like I said, let me know down in the comment below, guys, as to what are you guys' thoughts on the anime episode itself. Anime by me, American anime. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, say, otaku-related content, nerd culture, and anime discussions. And as always, guys, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.